Greetings, beautiful people. This is Sbfavorthinking podcast, and my name is SB Favor. How are you doing today? It is September 19th, 2020. It is a Saturday, y'all. A Saturday, another day to be thankful, another day to project something good. If you think about something good, you can project something good to happen. If you think about something bad, you don't want something bad to happen, so think about what is good. I have a special guest today. His name is Randall Cooper. He is a good friend of mine. I call him the brown man. I call him the brown man because that's my buddy, and he is on a health and wellness journey. He is an inspiration to many. He has decided to transform his body. And of course, a transformed body is a transformed life with a transformed mind too, okay? Because to take on the discipline of working out and being consistent, you have to have a transformed mind too. So, Randall, how are you doing today?
Yes, I'm good. How you doing, SB?
I am absolutely thankful that I'm just here to see another day, you know?
Yes. Me too.
Yeah. So, I just want to talk to you about this journey that you're on because, you know, we're friends on Facebook and I see you in the gym and I see you just being so consistent, and I'm so proud of you because it takes a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, it takes a lot to just be diligent and on point in that area, because sometimes, you know, many of us, we start working out or we project or plan a goal and we fall off. So tell me about what made you start your journey, your health and wellness journey?
What made me start is my nephew used to get on me about me being so thin.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a part owner of a gym, so I went to work out with him, and one weekend, and when we took off from there, we left, went from there. He took a picture, and I saw a picture of me.
Okay.
And I did not like what I saw, and it was when I saw that picture, it was a picture that showed me that I was a young person, but I was getting old at a young age.
Wow. So you looked at yourself and you saw something that could change. You saw something that could change based upon a step that you could take to change your body physically and also change your mind mentally, because you had to have a mental change in order to just see that and desire that. So tell me about the mental part of it first.
The mental part of it was not necessarily a difficult part.
Okay.
The mental part to me probably was more easier than the physical.
Wow.
And I say that because I have such a strong athletic background.
Okay.
So I learned through my athletic skills and playing sports for so many years to be strong mentally, even though I was not necessarily strong physically.
Okay.
So I always had that work ethic mentally to be very competitive. So my competitive nature mentally caused me to push my body more physically. But it started off because I had that competitive mentally edge about me.
Wow, that's awesome. Because you know what? The last time I saw you, which was many years ago, you were, thin. And now I look at your pictures and your videos and I'm like, is this the same man? I mean, you look really, it's very attractive. It's beautiful because the body is a piece of art, right? And when we take care of the body, that's what it exemplifies, art. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So, like I said, I'm proud of you because you're doing a good job. To be able to look at a picture and see something that could change and to manifest it, that's powerful. That's very powerful. So, let me ask you this. What is your diet like on a a basic day? Do you have several meals a day, or how do you? What's your regimen like?
My diet is what I consider during the off season. Like now is when I'm not preparing for a show.
Okay.
So during the off season, my diet consists of I eat about 5 to 6 meals a day. So it'll consist of a lot of carbs, protein. I try to get in X amount of fat. X amount of carbs, X amount of protein, X amount of vegetables.
How about portions?
Because
how about portions? Do you watch your portions, or you?
Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. But my portion would try to be at least a cup or a cup and a half of if it's rice. A cup and a half of rice. It could be a cup and a half of vegetables. It could be like 8 ounces of piece of meat. So things of that nature. I try to add some fruit in there from time to time. But then when I get ready for a competition, because I need my body to look a certain way, right? Then I have to cut back on all the carbs. Okay. That I may eat. I may try to get in about 200 grams of carbs a day during all season, but when I'm getting ready for a competition, then those carbs probably go down to maybe 75 grams of carbs a day. Well,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it changes depending on what I'm actually trying to do with my body at that particular time.
So how do you maintain the muscle mass with the carbs? I mean, because some people always talk about the carbs are really the problem when we are trying to maintain a certain amount of weight. You know what I mean? So how do you work out more when you eat the carbs, or what is it? How do you balance it out?
Well, the carbs actually, I load up on carbs when I'm not trying to get ready for a competition, so that's easy. But when I'm getting ready for a competition, the carbs will still kind of be high up until primarily the last week or week and a half of the show. That's when I would cut down on the carbs in order because that's your energy source in the carbs. Right. And I really like that peak week. You call it peak week because that week is where I really have to be careful about my carbs, because otherwise it's gonna it depletes your body, so it will cause you to lose a little muscle mass.
Oh, okay, got you.
But up to that last week, I try to maintain a certain amount of carbs.
So let me ask you this. Okay, so you're on your weight loss, well, not weight loss, but your muscle gain journey, because you've always been thin. So you're on your muscle gain journey, and at some point you start looking good. You start looking at yourself in the mirror, probably getting conceited. So what do you do? What do you do? Or how did you change your mindset to say, okay, now I want to compete? So how did that come along?
Well, that came along because when I was working out with my nephew, who is also a trainer. Okay. And he also competes himself. And so we was working out, and he said to me, he said, he always, even though I'm his uncle, but he called me Coop. He said, Coop. He said, man, the way you train and work out, he said, you don't work out like a normal person. You really work out like a person who's competing. So he was like, you ought to at least try it. And so I was like, at first I was like, nah. And I was like saying no, because I was like, thinking about how people look when they compete. I'm like, I ain't there. So I can't do it. But then he kept talking to me about it, and he convinced me to go on and do it. So I, again, that competitive nature in me, that mentally competitive edge that I have, it pushed me and drove me to say, you know what, I'm going to do it.
Wow. That's awesome. That's really awesome. I'm telling you, I mean, you like I was telling you earlier, you have inspired me because it's days I may not get to the gym as early, but then, we're friends on Facebook, and when I see you working out, I'm like, wait a minute, I need to go work out now because he reminded me I need to work out. And you are inspiring a lot of people, and I just think that that's your niche, that's your thing, and it's a blessing that you decided to do it and be consistent, and just getting the results. It's wonderful. You have something to impart to others, and I just hope that you continue to do that, because you never know who's watching you, right? You never know.
Right.
You never know, and
Right.
so, but it's awesome.
Well, that's the beautiful part about it, because I post pictures, for my progress, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it for show or for likes or
Right.
because as you said earlier, I may be getting a big head of conceit, because in actuality, I really do have a shy part about me, and so.
Yeah.
But I do it because I do get the enjoyment of people telling me that I'm motivating them, and I hear from both male and female.
Yes.
And so that's the enjoyment that I really get. I get more enjoyment out of that than somebody mashing like. I like when people ask me how was my diet, or ask me how I'm eating, or people ask me to send them a meal plan or whatever the case may be, or hey, are you a trainer or stuff like that. So it's the motivation part of it that's driving me.
Yeah, and I see that about you, because like I said, I've been knowing you for a while, and when you started posting the videos, I knew that you were posting, for that reason. You wanted to simply motivate others. I just know that about you. You're a good person, decent person. And when I saw the videos and the pictures, I was like, wow, just totally inspired and reminded to continue to work out and take care of my body, because we are getting older, and the older we get, we have to maintain our muscle, because we lose a certain amount of muscle, right, every year. And
Right.
We have to be consistent. And so that's what I admire about you, is because you are consistent. Because I remember when you first started, and we had a brief conversation about being consistent, and like I said, most people, they start out, but they fall off. So what would you say to someone that has stopped working out because they haven't seen the results? What would you say to that person to get them going again? Because you are a motivator, and you have a mental tenacity that's blessed. You know what I mean? So what would you say to somebody to inspire them to start working out again, or at least take steps to try to get to the result they want?
Well, I tell people all the time that and it's an old cliche, but it's a true cliche, and that is, you have to trust the process.
Okay.
Because you can't, changing your body is not something that's going to happen overnight.
Right.
Especially when you want it to look a certain way. Now, it'll change overnight if you just stop doing whatever you're doing and you can get fat overnight is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But trying to get your body in shape, especially like you just said, the older we get, the more it's more difficult.
Right.
So I tell people all the time, you got to trust the process. You got to be consistent. And just because you don't see results, in a month, 2 months, whatever case may be, you may not see the results you want, but you got to trust the process, and you got to be consistent.
Yeah.
And you have to be not only consistent in your workout, but you also got to be consistent in your diet. Your diet, I tell people all the time, your diet is more important than working out, because you cannot outwork a bad diet. You can go and work out 24/7 if you want to, But if your diet is not on point, then your body is not going to change. So you got to stay with it. You got to be mentally and physically strong. You got to be a self-motivator, and just trust the process. Sooner or later, you keep being consistent in what you're doing. Sooner or later, you're gonna start seeing the results you want.
Oh wow! Well, let me ask you this, because what you just said, you're absolutely correct. Trusting the process. That's, man, you got me sitting here thinking. Trusting the process. Whew. I mean, you got me thinking about how you have to get into this mental mode, you know what I'm saying, of just being able to go after the result. Like, because trusting the process, wow, going after what you want to happen. Just like we go after jobs, we go after companionship, we go after all these different things in life. So what you just said, you said a whole lot. Trusting the process. Lord Jesus. Trusting the process. Trusting the process is really having the mental capacity and thought process is to go after what you want. That pertains to your body, people. Listen to what he just said. Trust the process of getting what you want for your body. Oh my God, this is blessing me. Thank you so much.
But it's just not all about your body, but because some people may not want to change their body. They just want to be healthy.
Right.
But that also plays a big part in moving your body. I try to do this thing about when I post stuff to say, hey, keep your body moving, people. You got to move your body if you want good health. If you're concerned about high blood pressure, you got to get on that treadmill. You got to get on them cycling machines. Do something, to get the heart rate going. To help lower that blood pressure. Even with that, you're still trusting the process because your blood pressure may not change. It ain't gonna change overnight. But if you keep being consistent and getting on that treadmill or getting out walking and getting on a cycling machine, moving that body.
Yes.
Doing some exercise on a daily basis. That's trusting the process. Even with that, because at some point, that blood pressure is going to begin to come down.
Yes.
So you don't necessarily have to be, you don't have to be on pills. Right. On this medicine that these doctors give you.
Amen.
If you just eat correct food, eat the right type of food, put the right type of stuff in your system, that's also going to help your blood pressure come down. Because the doctors, they don't quick to throw you on medicine. But there are other ways you can control your blood pressure or control, some things what's going on with you. But it's like I just said, it's all in trusting and believing the process.
So the process, the goal could be anything. It could be a health condition. It can be your physical body. It could just be a simple goal of being well, right? And
exactly.
And so that's beautiful. I just hope that someone gravitates to this, and they will, because I'm speaking life to this thing, because there's life and death in the power of the tongue. So, Randall, let me ask you this. Tell me about some of the challenges that you may have experienced during this process.
The challenges, my biggest challenge to me has been the mental.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that because, we live in this microwave world, and when we want something, we want it right now. And so the process, that has been, I get discouraged sometimes because I do feel, sometimes I get discouraged because sometimes I feel like I'm not getting the results that I want, that I truly want. And so it kind of become a little discouraging, but I have to hold myself accountable, in which I do. And then that's when when those negative thoughts, entered into my mind, I immediately, when I recognize, I immediately have to turn around and pop, the positive into my mind.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
So do you
So those are some of.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So those are some of my challenges. Sometimes I have a challenge with because I have to go work out so early in the morning.
Right. Okay.
And so that would kind of challenge me some mornings. But again, instead of talking myself out of not going, I will get up and I tell myself, once you get to moving around, you start getting yourself dressed. Then by the time you get to the gym, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be ready, and it always seems to work.
Wow, that's true. So, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I've experienced that one right there, where I got up early in the morning, maybe about 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and I told myself, well, I'm gonna work out, and then I was tired. I was like, oh, maybe I'll do it later. But like you said, once you get going, then everything just falls into place. So yeah, that is true.
You're right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. So would you say that if you're around people if you have friends or family members that don't work out, and friends and family members that eat crazy and out of control, and they don't have that determination to do better in that area, what would you say to somebody that deals with the temptation when they're around their family and their friends may be the ones that make them mess up? What would you say to that person so that they know how to deal with that type of temptation?
Well, I tell people, situation. I tell them you have to be self-accountable. You know what your goals is. You know what you're trying to accomplish. Right. And with that being said, you can't just put everything into your body. Just because this person is eating over here eating bad, you know what your goal is. So you got to hold yourself accountable. Mm-hmm. And you can't, when those type of temptations come, you just got to be able to be strong enough mentally to pull back and say no. Right. So right. It's basically, to me, it's accountability. It is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I have a friend. I tell her all the time. Well, I don't tell her all the time, but I told her, you need the weight you're trying to lose. Either you're going to lose it yourself, or sooner or later the doctor is going to tell you. Wow. Make you. So one way or the other, you're going to lose that weight. Either you're going to do it yourself, or you're going to get to the point where the doctor is going to say, hey, you got to come off this weight or otherwise. Yeah, and that's the bad side sometimes, because some people wait until something starts to go wrong in their body, then they are trying to catch up, right? So, and I'm not saying not to do it at all, because every effort counts, but you want to really start eating right. And like Randall said, trust the process mentally to just take it one day at a time to work towards the goal. If you really want it to be what you are projecting, what you want to see. And being accountable, that's awesome as well, because when we are self-accountable, we are maintaining a standard of how we want to live. I was talking about that yesterday, because a standard of living is what you want for yourself, and we can't always be tempted or influenced by others. We have to maintain that standard for ourselves as individuals. I was talking about that yesterday during the podcast, because I have a strict diet for myself, and I'm one of those people, when I get around my family and friends, yes, I am tempted. I'm very much tempted. But I always tell myself, if I eat that, am I going to feel good or am I going to feel bad? And the benefits of feeling good is better
than feeling bad and being in regret.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, when I wake up in the morning, it's easy to just want all the greasy stuff. The greasy stuff don't work. Yeah, it don't work for me. I gotta have water in me in the morning, right? And I gotta have I gotta have the things that just give me life. Anything that has water in it, anything that is plant based, something that is truly alive versus a piece of slab of pork. I cannot have grease in me like that. You know, when I wake up in the morning and I have my teas or smoothies or whatever I have, it has to have something plant based, something that's not greasy. Because if I get up in the morning and my stomach is empty and I eat something that's really greasy, I feel terrible. So I cannot do that. And so, you know, sometimes I can get away with maybe a croissant. It depends, because I try to stay away from that bread too. That bread is my enemy.
Right.
bread is me and bread be in a fight sometime. You know, I mean, bread be talking to me and I be talking back like, I don't want you, and they like, no, we're gonna join together, and I'm like, no, me and bread we are enemies for real, and that's my temptation. So you know, I gotta choose because I'm trying to keep it tight. So, but let me ask you this: the consistency. What has inspired you? You know, when you see that you're consistent, and you know another day is coming, and you have to continue with that consistency because you have seen the benefits of what you've already done. So, what inspires you to just keep going? What inspires you that way?
Again, is when you begin to see some progress, it's inspirational.
Yes.
It's like, yes, now I feel that my work is not in vain, because now I'm beginning to see the process, manifesting itself. So, and being, so it inspires me to keep going, inspires me to be consistent. And to be honest with you, if I go on a vacation and end up not working out for a whole week, my body don't feel the same.
Wow.
So literally, if I miss, I'm accustomed to missing, taking off on letting my body rest Sundays and Mondays. But then I get back in there Tuesday through Saturday. But if I end up missing Tuesday, Wednesday, so it's like 4 days I don't miss. My body just don't feel the same. It's quote unquote. It's like I have to get my coffee. I have to get my fix. In the morning, which means I have to get in and work out. That's what's going to help me to make it through the day. So that's keeping me being consistent.
Right.
The process is being manifest. And because my body, I just mentally and physically, I just don't feel the same if I don't do something.
Yeah, I agree with that because I'm an arm person, so I'm always working out with my arms more than I work everything, but I'm really like with my arms because as women get older, those arms start to flab out, right? So if you want to wear a sleeveless shirt and look fly, you got to work out those arms. So so I'm like, okay, I ain't messing with I got to keep my arms right. So one day I took off maybe a couple of days and I wasn't feeling right. According to what you just said, I was feeling kind of weird, and I said, whoa, wait a minute. So I had to figure out what to do because I wasn't home. I didn't have my bands with me. And I said, you know what, I'm going to have to do something. So I started doing like wall push-ups and, things to just get myself back on track because I was feeling kind of weird, So now when I travel, I take my bands with me, and of course, if I'm in a hotel, I go work out or whatever. But those arm wall push-ups, that helped a whole lot. Let me tell you. Oh yes, it did. So it's but like you said, it's important, and you're absolutely right. You do feel the difference. And
exactly.
yeah. So do you plan to do something professionally in the future? Because you have a lot to offer in this area, and people need this because this is life. We're supposed to impart something into each other that is good, that will impart life. And you have a niche that you have found. You are benefiting from it personally. Are you considering doing something professionally in the future to help people?
Um, the thing I am continuing to do stuff in the future. The thing else is I kind of, age is kind of catching up with me. So I'm 54 now.
Come
I
on,
don't know how
Randall.
much longer.
Don't you use no age as no. Come on, you better just throw that out the window.
I know.
Let's keep on talking. Throw that out the window. Come on now.
Okay.
No, we ain't. We're not gonna talk about age.
Okay. Oh no. Okay. So I guess what I was getting at, I'm not sure how much longer I'm gonna be able to try to compete. Because it does take a toll on you when you depleting your body of some of the things that it needs at that time to get ready for a show. But as far as maybe still being fitness and trying to motivate others to get fit, then that to me that's probably a lifetime thing.
Great.
Because as you say, I have found a niche. I have found a niche that I enjoy doing.
Yeah, Randall, our bodies is a tool for our spirit, right? So
yes.
And so that being said, as long as we care for it, it will always be an asset for us. When we don't care for it, that's where the problem is right there. Because some people are buying more shoes and more hats and more jackets and more cars and more jewelry, but they're not taking care of their body.
Well, listen, I say from time to time jokingly, my body is a Lamborghini.
Amen.
It's expensive, so I got to take care of. It's expensive, so trying to take care of your body, not trying, but taking care of your body.
Yes.
Being physical, fit is very expensive. You can't treat your body like the cheapest car on the market, a Volkswagen.
That's right.
And think it's going to run like a Lamborghini. No, you can't do that. You got to treat your body just like a Lamborghini. Something that's special, something that's expensive. So it's expensive to keep that motor running underneath in your body.
Amen to that. You said a whole lot. That's the truth. That's the truth. So what about your family and your friends and and your children? Are you tough on everybody, or you just let your light shine that you are the disciplined one? What do you do with that?
I have my sister who from time she's in and out. We'll talk about fitness. And she'll go train and she'll do some training. My youngest daughter is she said I motivate her, so I noticed now that she does a lot of posting of her being on the treadmill and or in the gym trying to do something. So but and so even with my mom, I tell her, hey, sun gone down, go outside and walk.
That's right. Amen.
Go out there, walk, move them legs.
Yes. Well, you are inspiration, and I'm loving every minute of this because, like I said, when I see your posts, I'm reminded, okay, let's do this. I mean, I try to be consistent, but there are days when, you're working through the day and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm tired, but at some point I tell myself, okay, I got to take at least 15 minutes in the early part of the day and then 15 minutes in the later part of the day, as long as I get it in, right? And just do something. And then, of course, I'm always thinking about my diet. I'm so conscientious about everything that I eat. So I'm trying with everything that I got. And I'm getting older just like you. So guess what? We're not going to talk about age. We're just going to talk about being perfected. I'm getting older, and it's about being perfected, because the older we get, it's about, in my opinion, it's about being perfected, because I believe in eternal life. So if you are taking care of your body and you taking care of your mind and you have a prayer life and you seeking God, guess what? You are in the process of being perfected. You don't have to be 60 years old, 70 years old, walking bent over. You don't have to be like that. If you take care of your body, if you do what you need to do, you can have the vitality just like anybody else and live your life with quality. And that's why I wanted Randall, I wanted you to come here today, because people need to be inspired about the benefits of taking care of their body. And if you find yourself falling off for some reason, just get back on track. But don't fall off to the point where you let a whole 2 months go by and you haven't done nothing, So it's important. So Randall, do you run at all?
No, I used to run, and the reason why I stopped was because it started bothering my knees.
Right.
And so my nephew told me, he said that you can't run on the street because the street is so hard, it's not giving. So you got, that's why your knees are hurting. So once I stopped running on the street, once I stopped doing it, then my knees stopped bothering me. So now, instead of running through the streets, I just get on the treadmill.
Yeah, that's what I do from time to time. Another friend of mine, he told me the same thing about running on the street. My daughter, she runs, and her fiance, they run marathons. Actually, they're preparing for marathons. Yeah, and then I have a brother, he does the marathon thing. So I'm not a runner. Forget that. I ain't running nobody's street. I'll be on the treadmill. I'll take a walk. I'll walk for a mile or two, but I ain't running through nobody's street. Forget that. But I appreciate you taking the time to just come and chat with me a little bit, and maybe I'll have you back in the future, because people need to be inspired, and I just want to really just pump some people up and just help them to just think, about the importance of taking care of their body. And if you fall off, don't just fall off and not do anything. Get back on track and just keep doing what you know to do. And on that note, Randall, lastly, what would you tell somebody if they have messed up totally and they feel like they can't get back on track? What would you tell that person?
You can get back on track. If you begin at one time, then you can do it again. It's just a matter of you getting back on track and getting into that flow. You got to find that flow. What works for you?
Yes.
Because what works for me I have to work out in the morning time, because again, you get so busy during the day until it can distract you till you can't do anything in the afternoon. So for me anyway, my less distraction comes in the morning. So I have nothing on my mind when I get up from, pretty much everybody's still asleep at 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning. So it's less distraction. So I can tell you, to get back on track, just set your mind to it, set a time, and perfect your time. Whatever time it is that works for you as an individual, and go for it.
Well, you heard it, people. He said go for it, and that's what you should do. You should keep your focus by all means, whatever it takes for you to be motivated and focused every day. Even just talking to people that will motivate you and keep you inspired to stay on track, stay on course with your goals. You can do it, because guess what? If you want to have a life full of quality, then you have to do it. So, Randall, I thank you so much again for taking the time to just, chat with me, and I will have you back again. And we're going to keep reminding people to seek what's best for their body, right? Because it's important. It's important. So, listeners, I thank you for tuning in to listen to SB Favorite Thinking podcast. If you need to reach me, you can reach me at sbfavor@yahoo via email. You can also reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also find me on YouTube. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much and have a good day.